Good morning, my name is Hayley White and today I will be walking you through the fantastical characters and some important themes of Christopher Paolini's Inheritance Cycle, otherwise known as the Eragon series. These 4 books are, in my completely biased opinion, masterpieces. In a small town called Carver Hall, a kid named Eragon finds a blue stone in the mountain ranges of the Spine. The stone soon hatches into a blue dragon and he names her Saphira. A fellow townsman named Brom, later revealed to be a retired dragon rider, travels with Eragon throughout Allegasia in search of the Varden, a rebellion army against the king Galbatorix. Galbatorix is a mad dragon rider whose dragon was killed when he was younger. He then created an uprising against the dragons and riders of his time and killed them all, and then he reinstated himself as king. Galbatorix spends the whole series trying to capture Eragon and Saphira with no success. Similarly, Eragon and Saphira face defeat again and again at the hands of Galbatorix. After a ton of soul-searching and character building, Eragon and Saphira are finally victorious and restore the land to peace. This series is, hands down, the most loved series I've ever read. I've had these books since I was 12 and have read them at least once every 2 years since then, so it's quite regular. No matter how long I go without reading them, I'm always drawn straight back in once I open the covers. This series is extremely well crafted and continues to make a difference in my life. I use this series as an escape and, like any books, it's a portal to another world where dragons really exist. I always find myself crying at the end because I wish it would never end. In this book, magic is channeled through the ancient language, or the language of the elves. When it comes to the ancient language, everything has 2 names, the names they call themselves and their true names. True names allow you to control and know everything about the object of your desire. For example, the true name for fire in the series is Brisinga, so in knowing fire's true name you can control it and understand it, which is something that Eragon displays throughout this series time and time again. The search for Eragon's true name, which takes place in Book 4, Inheritance, was a big turning point in his personal journey. In finding his true name, he was forced into knowing everything about himself. His mentor, an elf dragon rider called Oramus, says to him that knowing one's true name can be devastating because you're forced to look at all aspects of yourself, even the ones you don't want to admit. This is something that audiences, including myself, can sympathize with. The theme or idea of knowing yourself within the series is important and is definitely one the audience can understand. Throughout the whole series, Eragon has no idea who he is and refuses to believe simple truths about himself, in his arrogance and ignorance. This makes him extremely relatable because, as readers, this can be something we all struggle with. It's not until near the end of the series and his quest that he truly understands who he is. In learning his true name, it allowed himself to see who he really is, and that showed a level of personal growth that we hadn't seen from him through the entire series. An important quote from the moment he discovered his true name was this: "And then he gasped, and he found himself both laughing and crying. Laughing that he had succeeded and for the sheer joy of comprehension, crying because all of his failings, all the mistakes he had made were now obvious to him, and he no longer had any delusions to comfort himself with." Dragons are portrayed in this series as extremely complex characters. They are given both human and magical characteristics, which propels them beyond human intelligence and capabilities. Yet, in spite of this, Eragon's dragon Saphira is regarded as a basic animal that is there because of Eragon, when in fact it's the other way around. What people never seem to understand within this world is that dragons are the ones that enable the riders to be what they are. This is something that Eragon and Saphira work towards informing people, and so Saphira starts getting the respect she deserves halfway through the series. For example, many times people would address Eragon as the dragon rider, and they would always talk to Eragon, when in fact Saphira was just as capable of having a human conversation as Eragon was. So when Saphira starts to actively participate in conversations, that's when people realized, oh, she's not just an animal, she's more. This, in some form or another, could be a commentary on the role of women. Multiple strong female characters are undermined time and again through the series and have had to prove themselves worthy of their high stations. For example, the leader of the Varden, Naswada, was forced to do the trial of the long knives, which is a test of strength in which two opponents must cut their arms with blades and the person with the most cuts wins. Naswada won the trial of the long knives and was never doubted again. The role of women in this series is one that is set to prove their valor and overcome any gender stereotypes set against them. Throughout the series, there are many other different kinds of themes, but these are the main ones that I chose to talk about because they're the ones that stand out to me the most, and I feel personally that I connect with them on a deeper level.